So now I'm going to take a good size brush. I always like to start with a bigger brush than I think I need. So I'm turning my brush around. So this is the part of the brush that holds the water. So it's not going to be this color's not going to be as strong because I want to keep the center of the flower white so that the stamen will stand out. And here, the paper's dry, so I'm getting a hard edge. It's always good to have a damp brush in your other hand. Okay, now I'm going to put in the stamen here. So I'm painting with water. And now I'm dropping in the orange and letting it run down that wet area. So I might make this background up here much darker, and I may just, let the foreground down here stay white. So here, this is light against what will be dark. And then right here with this one, this will be dark against light. This is a little darker. So you don't have to fill up the whole painting with the image from the photograph. So this is my brush with just water on it, and then this is the color. And I just mixed a little of the violet that was on my brush with a little of the green, but very dilute. And that's going to be a shadow color on this stem. So I like the idea of this flower just being against white down here. So I'm going to go back up here and start putting in some darks and do some negative painting. So that'll make the flowers look brighter and lighter because of the dark background. So here again, I'm going to wet the paper, but in a kind of erratic way. I'll leave some dry patches. This is a neutral mix of ultramarine blue and burnt umber. I'm trying to get some real darks in here. So this is kind of a dull dark. As I'm working, I'm dropping in some other colors. So I just dipped into the burnt sienna. I did not rinse my brush. Now I'm going to press down, move away. And now maybe I'll drop into the purple. So I'm going to get a real mix of pigments. Now I just dipped into the ultramarine blue. So I'm not going to worry too much about the photograph. So I'm more interested in texture. And so I'm putting in rich color. So this is like, it's like heavy cream. And I can also take my spritzer and carefully move the paint around on the page. So I just use my hand to protect the flower. Let's see, I think I'll get some more burnt sienna up here to mix some here. Coming down to this flower, and I want it to be nice and dark, hard edge. So I usually use natural bristles when I want things to be real fluid, but I'm using a Loew Cornell synthetic round because it's got a great point to it. So now I'm doing a little negative painting around some of the spiky leaves. Okay, I think I'll put some salt on now. We'll have a little of that texture going on. You don't want to go overboard with the salt. So I just dip my brush in water. So this is background right here is more dilute. A little burnt sienna here. And a little more violet. And this will all dry lighter. See, if you know it's going to dry lighter, it can give you courage. So now I'm doing negative painting. And so I'm going to bring this spikiness down. And this color is a mix of burnt sienna and a little violet. So it's a bunch of different colors. I like the what my salt's doing up there. Now I'm painting the shadows that the stamen are casting on this petal. This is just water, just to soften some of the hard edges in here. So now I'm going to drop in stronger color here. Get a little ultramarine. So ultramarine and burnt sienna are nice colors for darks, and they lift easily. They aren't staining colors. And they disperse nicely too, if the paper's wet. Okay, I feel like I need more brilliant color on parts of the flower. So I'll go back into those oranges, maybe drop a little scarlet in there too. Get some darker violets in here. Just dropping a little green in here. Letting some of that green touch the wet petal so it isn't all hard edge. I'm letting this go a little, this purple go a little darker because this was so light. I'm keeping them white around the stamen for the most part. In some cases, I'm painting now around the stamen, but at least initially, I was keeping it white in the middle of the flower. And you know, I don't like painting petal by petal, but it'll be okay. So here I'm going to let this petal kind of blend in with the one behind it. All right, now I still have a little bit more to do. I'm going to go into the oranges and make them more vibrant. I can go into the background and do a little lifting. And this is a synthetic brush. So let's say I want to put a twig in somewhere. So maybe I'll put a twig in here. This lifts really easily. There's a lot of crisscrossing going on among the detritus here. So there's a little bloom there, and that looks perfectly at home in this situation. So this is kind of fun to add these lifted areas.
Are you using a dry brush?
It's damp, and I have a tissue if I want to blot it, but it's a nice stiff synthetic. This is my Escoda Perla. Rather than use it this way, I like to use it this way. All of this is negative painting because I'm painting the background around the object. Yeah, a lot of people have trouble with negative painting because they want to paint the flower, and often they end up covering up all the lights and whites. So if you're doing white flowers, you want to paint not the flower. But what's good is now here, I just dragged some of the background color into the crocus. The next thing I'm going to do is make the orange more intense. And I may dip into a little Cad Scarlet right there, just to intensify it. So having it right next to the purple is helpful. So this is nice because I have a few different hues and values on this stamen.
Good,
Okay.
everybody.
All right.
Good
Good
night.
night.
you.
Take care.